Alright man, I do my best to get to 2 or 3 account takeover submissions on this channel every single week, but I get like 50 account takeover submissions every week and it's impossible to keep up. And so what is up guys, this is Cobb and welcome to the next best thing besides a full account takeover, and that is of course another episode of What to Max Next, the video series in which I take a few of your guys' accounts that I didn't have time to get to in the account takeover series, and I go ahead and I suggest 3 champions that are not yet 6 stars on your guys' accounts to take up to level 60 next. My top 3 picks, and you guys can play along in the comments as well as we go and make this a communal account takeover session and help each other out. And I might also laugh at some of your guys' picks of what champions you have taken up to 60 already, like the likes of the garbage Grush the Mangler here, who I do not believe in at all, by the way. I've got a vendetta against Grush, man. Hey, before we get to my top 3 picks for this first account, if you'd like to create a new raid account, get off to the best start imaginable by clicking on the beginner promo link that's down below this video at the top of the description box, man. Click on that link and use it to create a new raid account on laptop or PC, or send this link to a friend and get them to create their new raid account. To get Tholin Foulbeard as your starter legendary and 4 free epic champions as you level up your account, man. It's the best beginner promo link going. Don't forget to use beginner promo code Desert Queen on your new account as well, such that you start off with a double legendary and quadruple epic champion start. It's the best link going. First off, when it comes to building your raid account and your first like dozen level 60 champions, you're just trying to fill as many gaps in your roster as you can possibly do, which Mr. Gmo Brickle here has done a great job of in his roster, right? We've got some heals coming in from Syl and from Grush, even though again I think that he sucks, but there you go. Some max HP damage from Royal Guard, HP burn from Ninja, decreased attack, decreased defense debuffs coming in from Mikey. We got poisons from Kale and the Nerd. We got Lysandra over here. We got Apothecary for increased speed as well. Ally attack from Farrakhan. Very well balanced roster. Even a provoke and some AoE wave control and stuff coming in from Vizix, which is great to see. And some debuff cleanse from Doompriest. Like I can't complain at all about the level 60 roster so far. Now the one tool that we are missing in Mr. Gmo's roster is, amongst all of these champions right here, we do not have a single decent block buffs champion. None. Okay, so even though we've got the Vizix and the Doompriest and potentially the Rector and like the Ninja and just great Hydra killer champions, we're lacking one of the key ingredients, which is an AoE block buffs champion. Anything like a... What the hell's going on with my camera? I blinked in and out of existence there for just a moment. Yeah, it's a shame that we can't jump on a Hydra team with that much vim and vigor straight away. But I tell you what, we've already got the Doompriest sorted as one of our Hydra supports. I think the next champion I would build would be the Rector Drath anyway, just because she's going to be very good into our Hydra team, even if we're not ready to build the team sort of just yet. Which just suck, but at least we can be ready. We can be ready then for as soon as we pull a good block buffs champion, we can throw the Doompriest and throw the Rector into the team as our 2 core supports, and they're going to do an amazing job, and we're going to be firing against Hydra straight away. And of course, she's a great champion in her own right. Don't actually have a good a good Reviver champion to take into Chimera Clan Boss on the account yet either. She brings the Revive, which is great. She brings all kinds of AoE healing, as well as a perfect Veil buff, which is partially what makes her so good into Hydra, because anytime you attack into the Head of Torment in Hydra and your champions are not under any Veil buff, they just get an unavoidable, unresistible, very painful True Fear debuff put against them unless they're under Veil, right? And so it's a great tool to bring, and yeah, healing is just great, and we might as well just be ready for that Hydra team if and when that time comes, right? Outside of Hydra, I tell you what, man, the next champion I would build would probably be, you know what, man? I'm going to say it. Whoops, what the hell happened there? I'm going to say it. I think I'm going to go ahead and recommend the Godseeker Iniri. Only because we've already got great max HP damage healers, namely the Ninja on the account. And if you combine Godseeker Iniri alongside a nerd like Ninja, you can build a 2-man team to completely clear all of Sand Devil's Necropolis, which is a very notoriously painful dungeon, right? And it's all because of Iniri's Revive, which is on a 4-10 cooldown, revives the dead ally, fills the 10 meter, and resets the cooldown of all of their skills, right? Again, 4-10 cooldown Revive, great stuff, but her passive makes it so that she can revive herself. If an ally is about to get killed by a fatal hit, preempts that hit and instantly plays Revive on death on that ally for 1 turn before the damage is taken. If you can build a Godseeker Iniri in decently fast regeneration gear, and the speed depends on how much speed you need, depends on the stage of Sand Devil that you're trying to clear, you can build a team that does this. A 2-man team with Ninja and Aniri, that is just perpetually alive, right? Your Godsika Aniri just basically never dies, except when she does die, she dies at just the right time for her passive to revive her, and then she instantly revives the Ninja, and the Ninja does a little bit of damage. I've got some guides up on the channel touching on Sand Devil and how you can build this team using a Godsika Aniri, and it's a very, very bloody good and effective team for clearing all the way down to stage 25 Sand Devil and farming the crap out of this dungeon and solving this dungeon. And because the account that we're looking at right now, Mr. Gmo's account, isn't, because of the lack of block buffs champions on the account, it's not really in a position to really start doubling down and popping off into Hydra. We might as well take care of little build projects like this instead in the meantime, while we wait for an Ostrox or an Uugo or an Umbral Enchantress or some other block buffs champion to sort of show up on the account and help us out into Hydra. Another champion I'd go ahead and recommend that we build next would probably be the Miscreated Monster, only because he's a bit of a cheat code into Spider's Den, and I'm not sure that this team and this champion roster that we have at level 60 right now has what it takes to be clearing all of normal mode Spider. We've got great increased speed champions and 10 meter manipulators like the Lysandra, and the Physics brings 10 meter steel on her A1 skill, and so we've got a decent backbone going for a spider team, but we're lacking a way to either consistently wipe or control the spiderlings, something which Miscreated Monster is absolutely exceptional at doing, not only because he controls the crap out of a lot of the spiders, but also because on this attack all enemies stun skill, which, you know, lands stun at a 50% clip, it also places a shield buff on all allies lasting for 3 turns, equal to 25% of the damage inflicted. So crit rate gauntlets, crit damage amulet, and then just as much, you know, HP as possible. He's an HP based champion after all, so you still want to build him like relatively high HP, tanky, all of that, but 100% crit and certainly a crit damage amulet, so this thing hits pretty hard. These shields are enormous and basically make it very, very difficult indeed for you to actually die against Spider, and you don't have to worry half as much about the spiderlings as you otherwise would, and he's just a great, great champion for that job. And an honorable mention champion that I'm going to go ahead and, I mean, we've got a few honorable mentions I could make here. Katoon's great, Moraiga's solid, Neldor's going to be good later on for progressing into hard mod Fire Knight. We've got some other options here. I could shout out Ornn and Skrank for a future Hydra team, but another champion that I will also go ahead and spotlight is all the way down here in the bottom, almost covered by my camera, and that is going to be Skaramis as my honorable mention. Skaramis built in good speed, good enough accuracy to land his provokes, and high resistance, so probably a resistance banner, maybe a resistance chestplate as well, so that he can serve as a mischief tank and start being the second provoker that we need to start building like a Hydra B team in future. Could be very, very good and worth building. That's account number 1. Do you agree with my picks? Probably not. Let me know down below in the comments, man. This is a communal account takeover session after all. Next up, we got the account of Mr. Overlord, which I'll just make my camera just a little smidgen smaller here, just so we can fit a little bit more on screen. And the level 60s that we've got together on Mr. Overlord's account begin with the Sill of the Drakes and end with the Loki all the way up at the top here. Wow, dude, we've actually got a Petrifia up at level 60. That's a little bit questionable. Pinthroy's okay, alright. I mean, Jamasa, does she really need to be 60 right now compared to some other champions on this account? I would wager probably not, given that I'm looking at like Artak and stuff down here, which great, great champions for us to build over time as well. Okay, so, God. In fact, now that I look at it, man, we've only got one row, pretty much, of level 60 champions, and our level 50s just go on and on and on. Oh my god. In fact, all the way down to the bottom, these are all 5-star champions. Oh, you know what I'm gonna say, man. You know what I'm gonna say, dude. You know what I'm gonna diagnose for this account, right? We have a syndrome on this account, and it is known, you guessed it, as level 50 syndrome. Oh my goodness, a level 50 champion is worth not even a quarter of the amount that a level 60 champion is worth in terms of power level. This is a very, very general rule, but it's certainly the case for damage dealers and most debuffer type champions that really want to get their hands on banners and stuff like that. Yeah. We just need a lot of new level 60s on this account, but I'm going to do my best to narrow it down to the top 3 that I build next. First and foremost, wave control, 10 meter control. Our options right now are very, very limited. Syl, Kimmy, Okay, I think Kimmy brings a bit of 10-meter control action, at least. We haven't got a lot going for us. I've got to imagine that this account is probably struggling quite hard into the likes of Spider and Finite. Luckily, we have a cheat code champion for this. We're sitting on our Vizix. She's level 50 already. This would be the next champion I would take up to 60 and probably get her booked as soon as possible. We also don't have a Provoker at max level as well. I mean, technically, we've got UDK, who can bring a Provoker on his A1, but it ain't half as reliable as Vizix's, which is a 100% land rate. And honestly, Vizix is just an absolute badass. Vizix is the solve everything champion. I've done a couple of videos before actually touching on why I like the champion that solves everything, you know. If you're still struggling on Spider, Finite, you're still struggling to get started into Hydra, Vizix comes along and just takes care of all of that, right? She's a great babysitter champion for keeping your team safe in the likes of Finite against the waves with the 310 cooldown to tackle enemies provoke, which is great. Brings the tackle enemies decreased speed, great into Spider, great into Finite, great into wave content, great into Hydra, you know, just very, very good overall. Ally protection as well can be useful as well into Hydra, as long as you build a tanky enough to live through all of the extra damage she's going to be soaking up into Hydra with this Ally protect. But namely for this account, the 10-meter steal on a A1, on a double hitter, it's a 100% chance of stealing 15% enemy 10-meter. It's very, very good. It's very, very good. That's why I call her the solve everything champion. Does a little bit of wave control, little bit of AoE debuffs, brings a decreased speed, 10-meter steal on a multi-hitter. She solves basically every dungeon. We also are in a position where we can actually start hitting into Hydra as well, using Loki as a less than optimal block buffs champion to take into the Hydra team as well, but he can do the job, technically speaking, to get our foot in the door there. The Vizix is probably just the missing piece of the puzzle to get us building our first Hydra teams on Mr. Overlord's account. Next champion I build would be yet more 10-meter control, a nice easy build. Let's just get the Cold Heart up to 60. She's almost definitely going to be integral for building our Finite team for Finite progression. Might use her in a Spider's Den team as well. 10-meter control, a quadruple hitter on an A1 is a big deal for an account like this as well, where we're really lacking multi-hitter champions built out at 60 for taking on Finite as well. And so Vizix, Cold Heart almost single-handedly take care of Finite progression for us on this account. And next up, to be honest, man, what are we talking here? Oh, God. Can I just say, by the way, there's some champions here that I would really rather we just don't take up to 60. Scatosis is not a good champion at all. Krokmar's fine. I'll give him a circle instead of a cross. I'm going to start playing Connect 4 if I'm not careful. So we'll just leave that where it is. Wuzgar, I wouldn't bother with. We might be tempted to take him up to 60 for use in Finite. We don't need him. Vizix and Cold Heart will be able to do the job just fine. I would not bother with this guy. Galcut, I wouldn't bother with him. Lordly Legionary is a piece of crap. We can get rid of him as well. Damage, probably not. I don't even know the name of this rare champion, but just get it in the sea. It's not going to be any good. So there's a few here that we should probably avoid taking up to 60, although we're in no rush for. So I'll call those out. And there'll be some people who disagree in the comments. What do you mean, Cobb? Wuzgar's absolutely busted. I use him in my everything. You know, I use him in every single team of my account, man. Well, you know, just each to their own, okay? I think that he's actually an overrated piece of garbage. This is my 2 cents, man. I really don't like Wuzgar. My third and final pick for champion to take up next on this account is once again going to be the Miscreated Monster. It should basically, Miscreated Monster, Cold Heart, and Vizix should basically seal the deal and get us through Spider's Den. That's it, you know, throw like a speed or a lead in there, maybe the Kimmy in there or something as well, and that should be our Spider's Den team sorted. We've got a great Spider's Den team at that point. Should solve that. And of course, Miscreated Monster is great into Ice Golem progression as well for the Ally Protect and the big shields that he does provide. Nice and quick this one, man. Straight onto Mr. Emmy's account, which is very, very early game indeed. But I like to pick at least one super early game account in these What to Max Next episodes. And I gotta say, I don't mind the champions that we've taken up to 6 stars so far. At least we've got decreased attack and decreased defense coming in from the Mikey. Please, by the way, Emmy, I hope that you're watching this video, man. Listen up, Emmy. Put all of your books into the Mikey. Don't go booking the Lemonisi. I don't know how new of a player or old of a player Emmy is. Maybe this is like a second account of his or something. maybe he already knows, but get the Mikey fully booked. You need a reliable source of decreased defense and decreased attack debuffs. Mikey brings both to the table. Don't go bucking the the Xenomorph. He can do just fine without the skill tomes. Lemonici is not worth the skill bucks. She's a fine champion, but she's nothing like mind-blowing. The Mikey, on the other hand, will be using forever on this account. So that's the first thing. Next thing, some champions to ignore that we've taken up to 50 that make me a little bit nervous on this account. Bergoth, absolute piece of detritus, man. I swear to God, this champion is not very good at all. Is he a Knight's Revenant or is he Undead Hordes? Actually, there he is. Okay, he is Knight's Revenant. Bergoth is, I mean, he's lucky to even get a 4 in Faction Wars, man. This is not a good epic champion. He's been power crept massively. Brings a 4-turn cooldown. 60% land rate provoke. Now, the provoke can land for 2 turns, but I'd rather just have 100% land rate provoke. You know what I'm saying? That only lasts for 1 turn. The fact that it's a 4-turn cooldown is a problem in wave content. It's basically useless as like a Hydra provoker. You can't build him into that. Even as like a Magma Dragon provoker, I wouldn't trust him. Like, you can't bring him in as a lone provoker, you know? It's just too long of a cooldown and too low of a land rate. Bergoth the Malformed, leave him at 50, do yourself a favor. Frankly, you've got champions in the game like Bloody Nalhorn that you can build as a provoker who brings a 3-turn cooldown provoke with 100% land rate provoke. Yes, it only lasts for 1 turn, but you take the reliability every time over, like, for a hard crowd control skill like a provoke, man. What else we got here? I'm not sure what we've got. We've got like multiple Elhains going here. I definitely wouldn't recommend this. You see some people do this at times, but we've got like 2 5-star Elhains and a level 60 Elhain here as well. The level 60 Elhain, don't mind that at all, right? Take your starter red champion up to 60 by all means, but having multiple like that, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Malkith isn't very impressive. Lordly Legionary, don't bother. Broodlord's not very great, to be honest. What else we got? I don't know. Is this Talia? Talia, maybe? She's just not very good. I wouldn't bother with her either. Would not take this nerd past 50. Neither would I with Bloodfeather. We've got a few here that we certainly shouldn't bother with. Next champion I build on this account is the most important buff type champion in the game, and honestly, I would have probably recommended that you take this champion up to 60 before, like, the Lemonici. Like, we've leveled a lot of damage dealers up to 60 now. Damage dealers are great, but we really need an increased speed buffer. Where's the High Katoon? Where's the High Katoon? Okay, well, whatever, man. It's going to be the Apothecary then. I thought for a second there, maybe I'm just missing something. I was going to go for the High Katoon if I could find her, but I'd go for the Apothecary. An increased speed buff for champion is bloody everything. You need a champion that's bringing increased speed buff. It's the most important buff in the game. And as far as rare champions go, Apothecary is the best in the business. Strong version, 30% increased speed buff and a 3-turn cooldown. Also 15% 10 meter fill. The only reason High Katoon for me is a little bit better generally into most content is because not only does she bring the increased speed, she also brings a decreased speed debuff on her AO1. Not a great land rate, but it's fine. But she also brings the 19% speed aura in all battles as well, which is a fantastic aura to have in basically every team in Raid. You know, there's very few teams where you don't want to have the speed aura lead. So that's what I'd say about that. The Apothecary would go up next. We then need some heals, which puts us in a little bit of an awkward position here. So right now we're kind of just living off of the heals from the Mikey Leech debuff. Apothecary will bring a little bit more healing on his A2, but it's only single target heals, so that's not super ideal either. Honestly, you know what, man? You know what? Sinesha? It's time to give Sinesha some respect, because scanning over the rest of this champion roster, there is no other champion I can see that is actually worth building up to 60. That is a decent healer. This little nerd right here, this little red champion right here, doesn't count. She's just not good enough. Tholin is also just not good enough as well. It's only like a single continuous heal buff with like a 110 duration. He's a fine little rare champion, but not quite good enough. Sinesha, on the other hand, I think will actually be able to do a decent little job for us. She's a bit of an unconventional healer. She's not the best out-and-out healer in the game, but she does bring a pretty sizable single target heal on a 3-turn cooldown on a 2, and then she brings a 5-turn cooldown, so quite long cooldown, HP equalization effect. The HP levels of all allies are brought up to the level of the ally with the highest HP, so it can actually be a pretty significant heal if you think about it in that way. As long as you can keep one teammate nice and tanky and healthy and on high HP percentage, then heals the target ally by 10% of the max HP. So she's going to help out with heals, and I think that Sinesha plus Mikey, plus the Apothecary in the team, you know, the Mikey's Leech debuff, Sinesha's occasional heal, brings an attack all enemies A1 as well, which is kind of nice. I think that should be enough healing to at least get our foot in the door in terms of maybe clearing up to, I don't know, stage 16 of Ice Golem or something, and just giving us a bit of sustainability into stuff like Demon Lord Clan Boss. And Sinesh is always going to be good for us in the long run anyway, into stuff like Faction Wars because of the attack all enemies at once. So I don't think she'll ever be a waste for us to build, and it's always fun to get to recommend a champion that I don't normally get to recommend in these video series, but we sort of push for options here, and so I'd go for the Sinesha. My final pick would be none other than the Ruella, because frankly, we've taken care of all of the core tools at this stage. Bit of healing, decreased defense, decreased attack, some decent damage. A good poison champion with Xenomorph is great, and it's a good champion even unbucked. Yeah, I'd go for the Ruella next. Ruella is a great progression champion to build for the likes of Spider and Fire Knight and even Chimera Clan Boss, because she brings weakened debuff, decreased defense, and decreased speed, all in a triple hitter skill. And her A1 brings some 10 meter steel as well on another triple hitter. So she's really going to be useful for us for progressing into those gnarly areas that are tough to progress in, like Chimera and like Fire Knight in particular. So I think we could start building her for some good boss killer utility. Now, another champion that's obviously worth shouting out here, and some of you guys would have gravitated to straight away, is Fabian. Fabian's unbelievable, one of the best champions in the game at what he does, but what he does, and what he does well, is really arena, and this is not that much of a priority on an account that's obviously like a month or two old at most, you know. We don't need to worry about the Fabian just yet. We probably don't have the skill tomes to spare for the Fabian just yet either. We're definitely going to build him. He's a great champion, just not right now. Not at this point in time, frankly. As for other champions that are worth building on the account, Lady Annabelle in Regeneration Gear for soloing Dreadhorn Bormal in Doom Tower and in Curse City, and wherever he pops up is going to be great. Dark Elhain is solid for Faction Wars. Corvus is a great poison champion to bring into stuff like Dragon in particular. Normal mode Ice Golem could be decent for us into Demon Lord Clan Boss as well, depending on how our team lines up. As for rare champions, we've got some options here. We can build Tholin up to level 50. It can be a decent reviver for us into Faction Wars. I would normally recommend Prosecutor in the past, but after actually getting to playtest this rare champion, found it actually quite underwhelming, not a very good champion. Bowsmith Flannan is a great rare champion and is generally speaking worth building, as is Nalhorn for just wave control and a good reliable provoker to take into stuff like Magma Dragon and stuff like that. So we've got some options here that we can work on. Yeah, and with that we're going to leave it here. That was another episode of What to Max Next. Did you agree with my picks? Of course you didn't, man. I hope you guys were playing along down below in the comments. It's cool that we can get like multiple people's takes on this in different people's accounts, and just all kinds of feedback and all kinds of discussion going as to what choices are correct to make at different stages of your account when it comes to who you're going to build next. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully some of the tips that we shared in this video helped you out with your own account and your own decisions. And if you're looking to create a new raid account, create that new raid account right now by clicking on the beginner promo link that's below this video at the top of the description box, man.